Hello and welcome back to the next episode finally of our Minecraft survival playthrough, and today we are working on our villager trading hall, and as you can see I have been doing a lot of work off camera. It is much larger than it was last episode, and we got in a lot of villagers, but I figured out that this episode is never going to come out if I work towards getting all of them before I release it. So yeah, we're going to have some empty slots, but I wanted to do this first little segment here to show you some of the progress that I already made and kind of give you an idea of what I'm going to be doing off camera in the coming day or two. So as you can see, I expanded this back about twice as far as it was last time, I believe. That back area is actually pretty far into our farming district, or our animal district. And so we might add a staircase up or something like that over there. I have not decided yet, but then we started taking out this floor here and replacing it with a black stained glass floor. We added in some pillars, and the plan is that I'm going to push the ceiling up just a little bit, and I'm going to vault it and add in some ceiling lights and stuff like that just to brighten things up a bit and keep it a really bright and gorgeous area. And then this area underneath the stained black glass is eventually going to get all dug out, and we are going to do some sort of large cavernous decoration underneath there. I'm not 100% sure yet. I thought about using some of the stalactites and stalagmites to decorate that out, and some lava and some pools of water down there and stuff like that, but that is definitely going to have to be a whole episode of its own, because that is a huge and massive project to dig all that area out. So yeah, the plan for the coming few hours and day or two is to work on getting this vaulted ceiling up, the rest of this floor replaced with the dark stained glass, getting the rest of these villagers that I have currently shoved away in here, and then working on getting some lights in here. And then we also need to figure out something to do with all of this storage that we've got going on up here, because we need our, over here, right there, is going to end up being our large storage system, which we will start working on in another few episodes. And that large automatic sorting storage system, I have planned for all of our farms to kind of cart in resources into it, automatically sort them, and then I want the resources that are pertinent to trading with these villagers to automatically get taken over to this room and then distributed into some chests and stuff like that up above here. Probably it would have to be up above here, I guess, and that way we have easy access to them so that we don't have to go back and forth between the two rooms to get the melons to trade with this guy, or the pumpkins, or the beetroot, or the wheat, or anything like that. So that is kind of the plan. So this room's gonna take a lot of work, definitely, especially since quartz are pretty difficult to get a hold of in large quantities like this. And then I am also pretty low on glowstone right now, so I'm going to have to trade up quite a bit still with all of these guys, but all of our automatic farms have been up and running this whole time that I've been working on this. So if I go around and collect them, it should give us a nice little payday. So yeah, that is kind of where we are at right now. You can kind of grasp an idea of what this is going to end up looking like once it is all done. And I guess I will go ahead and cut now, and we will come back once I get this room farther fleshed out. Alright, I think we have just about wrapped up and finished everything that we are going to do in this villager trading hall for this episode. I am sorry that this episode took a solid 2.5 weeks to get out, but this took an incredible amount of time and I have been very busy. But as you can see, things are looking pretty snazzy as long as you ignore the part under the glass for the time being. We will fix that soon. but it took a ridiculous amount of quartz to get all of this done. But now we have our vaulted ceiling. This was about as tall as we could push it up due to the fact that we have the lake or riverbed up right above this here. And it took a lot of glass to get this done as well, and then the glowstone was another big one because I traded for most of that glowstone since I didn't want to deal with going and exploring in the nether because I hate the nether. But yeah, this is the monstrosity that we were left with. We still have plenty of villager cells to fill in, and I've got to throw in some workbenches for these guys over here, but this is looking wonderful and it is very functional. Some of the things that still need to be done in this in the near future is obviously decorating this area underneath, and I've got a few ideas, and I would be interested in hearing any feedback from people on what they think about those ideas. But the first idea that I had was to dig this down quite a ways and make a gorgeous underground cave system, kind of like how we were going to do with that biosphere, but build that out under here, have some like underground or under the glass rivers and maybe some like waterfalls in the cave system and stuff like that, and just make it look really natural and gorgeous, and then have it open down there either for mobs to spawn or just have it lit up and have it be pretty. Or the other thing that I was considering doing, which would require me to go into creative mode to do, is to fill in the whole area under this glass with end portal blocks. So I would use commands to replace all of this stone with end portal blocks, and then we'd get that gorgeous space or galaxy looking pattern underneath here as we walk, and I think that would look absolutely fantabulous. And I've said in the past, this is primarily a survival world, obviously, but at the end of the day, I'm a builder, and I like building whatever looks the most beautiful. And honestly, I'm leaning towards that because I think that would look the most beautiful. And I know that there's other ways that we could achieve a similar effect, such as digging this all out and getting it pitch black down there, and then putting in a whole bunch of like nether stars or something like that, so that when you walk, they look like they're moving around, and stagger them at different heights and stuff like that, or using glowstone. But you know, honestly, it's just not going to give quite as good of an effect, and it's not like we benefit financially, I'd say, in the game from having end portal blocks underneath this glass, because obviously we won't be using them to teleport to the end. They would be strictly decorational. So that's what I'm leaning towards, but definitely let me know down in the comments what your guys' opinions are, whether you would like to leave this a more strictly survival world, or if you're fine with me using creative mode for some simple things like that. And I definitely don't have to, you know, just give it to myself for free. I could calculate out how many of those end portal blocks I would need, and I could come up with a quote-unquote crafting recipe, and I'd have to sacrifice that many resources for it. I was thinking about using like Eyes of Ender, since, you know, that's very end themed, and then maybe incorporating some of the beacon type crafting recipe into it, and making it so that I have to give up some diamonds or something like that. I don't know. I'd come up with some sort of crafting recipe if you guys like, to make it feel more survival-like and more fair, so that I still have to work towards it. But I think that would really just make this area pop and finish off the look really well. So that's kind of the plan for the near future for finishing off this room, as well as getting the rest of the villagers in. I want to get at least one more armor smith, because I'd like to have all of the chainmail trades available. So right now I've got the boots and the chest plate. I'd like to get the leggings and the helmet, just in case I ever want quick access to chainmail without having to go kill a bunch of mobs to collect the chainmail off them. And then in the distant future, what I'm kind of looking at right now, I've got all of the items that I've been collecting and manually bringing over from our automatic farms in these barrels here. They're right near the entrance. It's really convenient and easy to trade them or grab stuff out of there and then go trade with the villagers. But eventually, over here, in this first little area, this is where we are going to start working on a massive storage system. And it's going to have an automatic sorter in it. And the idea is that after that automatic sorter is all said and done, it will automatically collect all of the items from all of our farms around here, bring them over, transport them, sort them out, and then it will send either all of them or a majority of the ones that can be traded over into the villager trading hall so that we don't have to run back and forth as much. And that would give us really quick and easy access to all of the items that we need. I thought about putting some like chests or barrels up above each individual villager, and then it would dump those items into those chests to trade with that villager. But that is a long ways down the road because that storage system like I want to build is going to take an insane amount of time. And yeah, it's going to be a really big project. So that would probably take the course of several months worth of episodes, working on it just a little bit every episode. But I do have plans to start on that. In here, I've got kind of a list of plans for future episodes, not in any particular order, but I probably might start with this one, building ships in the shipyard over by the tree farm that we built and finishing the port there. Building this big, huge villager trading hall kind of burnt me out on technical stuff for a while, and so I'd like to do a decorative build and then go back to a technical build, and I feel like that's a good balance for me, alternating each time between a technical build and a decorative build. I would also like to dig out the area for the storage hall, and then in the same episode probably build like an automatic seaweed farm. And then I'm also looking into building an overworld gold farm. And then there's some other simple farms that I would be interested in making sooner than later, such as a cactus farm, because we do have a villager over here that we can trade green dye to. So that would be a very good way to get lots of diamonds. And honestly, this villager here with the red dye trade is one of our most profitable villagers right now because we get lots of red roses from our iron farm, and then this is actually a pretty cheap trade for how many roses we end up with. So it is definitely making me a big profit, and I think I could also get a massive profit off of green dye pretty quickly and easily if I could go ahead and get a cactus farm going. But I also, since you need to cook up the cactus to get the green dye, need to get a stable fuel farm going, which is why I'm looking at the seaweed farm. So yeah, those are some plans for the future episodes. I also, sometime in the near future, I forgot to write it down, but I'd like to decorate the rest of this area out and get some more permanent lighting up in here and then decorate this center area of the biosphere. I've been holding off on that until I collect all of the new 1.17 lush cave blocks, because I feel like I'm going to be using a lot of those in here. And I've got most of them, but I'm missing some of the main ones, like the drip leaf and whatever the hanging vines are that sometimes have the glow berries on them. I am missing those as well. And I've tried looking around for them, but I just haven't had any luck in finding any. So I believe I can trade for those with wandering traders, which I've been keeping an eye out for, but so far I haven't encountered any. So that will be something to work on as well. So lots and lots of plans. Definitely not getting bored of this world anytime in the near future ever, most likely. But yeah, it would also be nice to do some themed, like Halloween builds or fall builds or even Christmas builds once we get closer to Christmas. So we will consider all of that. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope your semesters are going well if you're a student in school. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.